Hi, this is Lonyo.
And this is Andrew Gatdula. Today we'll be teaching you basic equations of algebra.
Okay, so algebra is a branch in mathematics designed to help solve certain types of problems quicker and easier.
Correct. In algebra, problems tend to deal with concept known as variables, unlike in arithmetic where it consists entirely of numbers.
Now, learning algebraic equations is a fundamental and very important concept to understand when learning algebra. And before we tackle some examples, we need to know some of the concepts used in these types of equations.
Okay, like what I've said earlier, most equations in algebra deal with the concept known as variables. Variables are symbols, usually letters like x and y, that stands for numbers.
For example, in the equation, 3x plus 2 is equal to 8. X there is the variable. What does this mean? As said by Gatdula, x stands for a number. But in the equation, we don't know yet what the number is. The goal is to find what number that x is representing to make the expression true.
Sounds difficult? Let's put it this way.
Other things to note are the constants and numerical coefficients. Constants are numbers on its own, like 2 and 8 in the example. 3 on the other hand, is called the numerical coefficient because it is a number that is multiplied to a variable. 3x means 3 times x.
But equations in algebra are not limited. Soon, there will be long and rather big equations that thinking may not be the best idea. Here, rather than solving, we'll teach you how to actually solve these problems mathematically.
Now in solving the equation, the equal sign is also important. This means that the two sides of the equation are equivalent, meaning 3x plus 2 is equal to 8, and 8 is equal to 3x plus 2. Due to them being equal, we can solve the equation by simply putting x alone on one side. Putting it in words, x will be equal to a value. So how can we isolate x?
In dealing with equivalent equations like this, we have properties of equality that we can use to solve. The first one is that adding the same quantity to both sides of an equation gives an equivalent equation. The second one is that multiplying both sides of an equation by the same non-zero quantity gives an equivalent equation. We'll explain both of these in detail once we go through examples.
Now that we've gone through the concepts in solving algebraic equations, it's now time to solve some equations. In the video, we will only be solving basic types of equations. After the video, there will be some exercises for you to solve at your own.
Let's start. The first type of equation is a linear equation, an example of which the first example we gave a while ago. Linear equations are expressed such that variables is in its first degree or exponent in simpler terms. We haven't solved our earlier example, so let's give it a try.
What we need to do here is isolate x by moving the numbers to the other side. To remove 2, we must add something to both sides in a way that 2 will be 0 on one side. And that is by using its additive inverse, which is negative 2, and add to both sides. To move 3 on the other side, we need to multiply a number such that 3 can be reduced to 1, as x in the expression is equal to 1 times x. We can do this by multiplying its multiplicative inverse, which is 1/3. The result will be x is equal to 2. Therefore, the value of x in the equation is 2. Something to both sides in a way that 2 will be 0 on one side. And that is by using its additive inverse, which is negative 2, and add to both sides. To move 3 on the other side, we need to multiply a number such that 3 can be reduced to 1, as x in the expression is equal to 1 times x. We can do this by multiplying its multiplicative inverse, which is 1/3. The result will be x is equal to 2. Therefore, the value of x in the equation is 2.
If it's right, we can substitute our answer to the variable in the equation. Substituting, we would get 3 times 2 plus 2 equals 8. Applying our knowledge on GEMDAS, we would arrive to 8 is equal to 8. Since both sides of the equation are equal, then x being equal to 2 is the right solution for the equation.
Next, we'll be showing you another example. You can solve it as we go along, or even solve before we give the solution to verify your answer. After showing the problem, we will give the solution after 3 seconds. So please, pause the video if you'd like.
Okay, let's start by grouping the terms together. There is a concept in algebra called transposition that involves moving a term to the another side, but it must change signs in doing so. This is simply a shortcut of the first property of equality, since you would not show that additive inverse since it always be equal to 0. Moving the terms, we would get 2x minus 3x equal to 8 minus 5.
As you can see, we move them into groups of similar terms or like terms. We can then simplify by doing the operation, and we get negative x is equal to 3. We are not yet done since we need to find x, as it is different from negative x. To solve, multiply both sides by negative 1. That way, the signs will reverse and the answer will be x is equal to negative 3. To check, substitute negative 3 to the equation. Substitute negative 3 to the equation.
Now what about equations that involve fractional constants and coefficients? For example, the equation 1/2 x plus 4 equals 3/2. cannot easily be transposed since it involves fractions. One way to solve this is to multiply the LCDs of all fractions to both sides so that we may convert it to a basic linear equation. Multiply the LCD of 1/2 and 3/2, which is 2, to both sides. The result will be check if the answer satisfies the equation.
The last type of equation that we will be tackling are solving variables in terms of others. For example, the formula for finding the area of a rectangle can be expressed as 2L plus 2W is equal to A, and we need to find W. You'll notice that the variables are unknown and you need to solve for W. Don't be intimidated by the variables, since the methods we'll be using are just same as solving basic linear equations. To isolate W, we need to follow the properties of equality. In solving, we would get W is equal to A minus 2L all over 2. In these types of equations, it is impossible to arrive at a numerical answer since the values are not given. Now that we've given examples, it's time for you to solve some equations to further master your skills in solving basic equations in algebra. We will be giving some items that you can solve on your own, and we'll be showing the answers after that. Pause the video if you need more time in solving.
We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk. You were the shadow to my light. Did you feel us? Another star, you fade away.
Thank you for watching and hope you have learned something from our lesson on basic equations in algebra.